Hi, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here, and look at me in the England kit. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, my boys are back in the flow. Well, they won their first match. To be fair, they won their first match, and yes, we are back and ready to go here on Talk Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen. England played their second match against, I believe it's, I think it's no, it's against Ghana. They play Ghana tomorrow. So I have to represent my England side tomorrow. My nephew, he's a Ghana supporter. So again, he's got family in England, so he's he's England adjacent, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you very much for joining me here in Talk Talk live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the World Cup. The World Cup is in full swing, ladies and gentlemen, and I enjoy it immensely. The football matches are great. Messi's back and he's kicking ass and taking names. Mbappe, yeah, Holland, and the like. So a few of my great. Yes, indeed. Oh, well, there you go. We got Ghana support in the house with Lana. Shout out to Lana, who is Ghana centric. And again, yeah, we'll look forward to seeing what happens tomorrow. I expect an England win, but again, Ghana could surprise me, so we'll see what goes on. But again, I'm wearing number 7, which belongs to the one and only champion of England, Bukayo Saka from Arsenal Football Club, and yeah, he's going to be kicking ass and taking names as of tomorrow. I don't think he'll be playing tomorrow, but he may make a cameo appearance. But we'll expect him later on in the tournament. But thank you very much for joining me here in Talk Talk Live. Long time no see, ladies and gentlemen. It's long time no see. I've been away for a couple of weeks handling affairs, but I am back here in the place to be. And it is my birthday week. It is my birthday week, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I will be a year older on Friday. So again, I'm a summer baby, right in the middle of the season, right in the middle of the year. We can do no better. And yeah, looking forward to it as always, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you very much for joining me here, Talk Talk Live. Just looking to see if we are available on the Ubius Tubius. If somebody can send me a message on that, greatly appreciated. But yeah, but I think we're ready to go here, ladies and gentlemen. But listen, um, I, I was thinking of other things I can come back on, but there's no doubt there's nothing better than this right now, and that is one of the well, the 6 representatives, ladies and gentlemen, of infamous acclaim, and that is Melyssa Ford. If someone can send me a message on YouTube, greatly appreciated. But let's get into this lady. This lady is absolutely cooked, and I'll say it. I'll say it once, and I'll say it 1,000 times. This girl is Cope Centrale. She is Street Centrale, and she did not use her feminine wiles, her clear advantage in the aesthetics department to her advantage, and now she's bought a dog, and now she's dying alone, as will be clearly seen with her interview with her 6 representative Shan Boudram. Two 6 ladies getting together in the states to have a conversation about how Melyssa Ford dating and marriage and procreative life has absolutely tanked and hit the duffers, ladies and gentlemen. Quite simply, hit the tires in Formula One sense. And but again, she still thinks she's winning at life. But we'll allow her say tonight. And this has come across my way through the likes of shout out to Brian Marcial. Shout out to Brian. Um, this came my way through the likes of Meteoric Rhetorical Reviews and O'Shea Duke Jackson, who both have had their takes on things. But so I'm going to take it again from the interview itself. I'm not going to go through the reactive way via MTR and via O'Shea Duke Jackson. I think they did great reviews on this, but I'm going to have my own take on things and have a little meander, a little stroll through things on certain subjects and show how Melyssa has indeed wasted her youth and beauty on the wrong things, and chasing waterfalls, chasing rainbows, and chasing upper floors, ladies and gentlemen. The elevator theory is in full effect right here, and quite simply, yeah, she went to the top floor thinking that she deserves certain things, but actually, nothing was there. Nothing was available, and the sign read you should have stayed on the bottom floors because Lord knows there were men in her vicinity throughout these last, let's call it 25 years, because Lord knows she was a video vixen as of the early 2000s lately, when she was at her peak, and she never took advantage of said advantages. And quite simply, well, let it slide, ladies and gentlemen, as so many have of her ilk in Hollywood and within the entertainment and music and, well, employment field, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the likes of Ebony K. Williams. We're talking about the likes of Naomi Campbell. We're talking about the likes of Mary J. Blige. We're talking about the likes of Vivica A. Fox. Listen, you can go down the line and you can literally um, a murderer's row list of ladies who didn't take advantage of their feminine wiles. If not, they destroyed their families. See Tia Mowry, ladies and gentlemen. So we're here. We're gonna get into this little conversation right here that we've had with the one and only, well, sixth representative. I don't even call her a 6S. I can't even call her a 6S. I'll call her a sixth representative, and that is Melyssa Ford, with another sixth representative, Shan Boudram. And we're gonna first let me get into this. Let me get into the let me see, the Ubius Tubius right here. Here we are. We're gonna start here. Well, shout out to Shan Boudram and her channel. First off, let's just highlight that because she's doing wonderful things in YouTube streets called Lovers by Shan. Lovers by Shan. Now, Shan did the right thing. She seems to have taken her Caucasian motherhood patronage and seem to have parlayed that into marriage. Lord knows she does not want to suffer the same fate of a Melyssa Ford. She just wants to report on it. Lord knows she would never want to switch sides with with Melyssa herself. She just wants to view things through her own lens and see if she can make a profit out of it. So here we are, and we are going to be discussing how Melyssa has made it through this level of life with her description of what knitting is. So let's get into it here with Shan Boudram and her part two of Finding Happily Ever After Without a Romantic Partner, featuring Melyssa Ford. Lord, no, that's a long thing. I just call her Melyssa Ford is cooked. Here we are, and here we go on Talk Talk Live. Thank you for being here.
Loved, because for me, it was mostly positive.
Yeah.
But I think that the centralizing thing was just around the concept of Bething, which we're now going to call kidding because people did not like that. But this concept of women who have come to a place, the reason why I liked the idea of a royal figure, because it's very clear to understand why a royal person would be reserved about bringing on a partner, because immediately it would diminish their power. So traditionally we think for women, when you get a man, he enhances your social status, he enhances your power, it expands you. But for today's day and age, it's not necessarily as true as it was.
Well, let's put Shan to right here. Listen, a king makes a queen and not the other way around. And that's one thing that Shan is getting absolutely wrong here, but she's looking at it through a feminist lens. But Lord knows she had the good sense of getting married, even though she is clearly a child of feminism, quite simply. And but the thing about Shan is that the thing that's made her wrong is indeed, yes, once a queen has found, well, is married by a king, her largesse is indeed expanded. It is indeed expanded. Let's not uh, uh, get things twisted or get things anything interchanged. I'm just looking at something here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I may. No, no, no. It's good. We're good here. We're good here. Thank you very much. Okay, we're back. Yes. So I just wanted to check on something, but we have found that out. But that's the thing about Shan. She's not getting right is the fact that indeed in this feminist age, she'll say that, oh, a man doesn't expand your largesse. Yeah, he does. He clearly, literally does, and the court system allows for that ad litem in most cases. I'm not saying that there aren't any cases of the reverse of the contrary, but yeah, that a lot of this she's speaking of is indeed, as the English say, poppycock. Let's continue.
Was. That to be said, this concept for women who are kind of coming into this, and we talked about tacit knowledge versus structured knowledge, this awareness that I bring a lot to the table, I have a lot to offer, I have a very full life, I've worked very hard on myself, and the pool of people who I'm expected to mate with haven't done the same. And I
And let's stop there. Yes, indeed. It seems that the modern dating spectrum has, especially with dating apps, especially with the likes of Instagram, especially with the likes of TikTok, especially with Instagram. It has limited a lot of dating pools, and it has cut off a certain segment of men. So men have had to measure up in more ways than one. They've had to earn more money. They've had to have more muscle. They've had to learn game. Had to hold frame. So there, and her whole table idea. Well, again, it's another feminist slash modern female trope that seems to rolled out ad litem. But anyways, I allow her this space. I allow her this time. Lord knows this is well, a feminist space, isn't it? Let's continue.
I'm told that my value is whether or not I can link up with that person who hasn't worked as hard to be the person that I am today. And them being like, there's something not right about that.
And who's controlling the idea? Who's controlling the idea of that idea of value? Men have dangled marriage in front of us like a carrot, since that is the thing that they feel like is the ultimate goal for us, and that is the pressure that society has put on us. It is no longer the truth. At the
No, it is the truth. Again, Melissa, you are a selfish individual, so you'll never get this at your ripe age. But however, it is the truth, and it is in such an economy. You cannot get away. Most people, 99, I would say 95, I would say 95% of people who live, day to day lives, common lives, not to the likes of Melissa Ford, even though she is dwindling into that space. They have to understand that they need to be together now more than ever, as the cost of living rises, as people can't afford homes, as people can't um, well, can't afford to live on their own anymore. They literally can't afford to live on their own. So we are in a time and a space where we need each other. So the likes of Melissa Ford, speaking of this, speaks of delusion. It speaks of um, absolute, um, well, unseriousness, and speaks of a level of arrogance that everyone should be able to live their lives on their own terms. But in terms of economy, you can't live your lives on your own terms. We've had to broker the peace, and if she wishes to do so, if she sees herself as above the grain, so be it. But at the end of the day, she prices herself out of the market, and that's what she's learning now. And now that's the reason why she's had to buy a dog. Let's continue.
end of the day, it all comes down to control. That's what it all comes down to. Control over finances, control over status. The thing that I found most funny about all of the men that were kind of in an uproar over what I was saying, when they hear the word decenter men, they hear I can no longer control anything that this woman does, because she's not all of the normal things that she would be looking for: a protector, a provider, a ring on her finger. None of those things impress me or impress upon me, or even feel like I need them. I
Well, here's the thing about this, Melissa. Melissa, you're so cooked on this. You price yourself out of a market that doesn't want you. Let it be said once again. You priced yourself out of a market that does not want or need you. Just like you did on the Joe Budden podcast, where you went out of your way to say that the patriarchy got you fired when in fact it was your mouth that did. Um, yeah, it seems your mouth has written you checks that you can't cash in on the dating market. And for you to have all these demands, these wild demands, at 48, at literally 48, when you don't have the beauty. Well, she does have the beauty. Let's call a spade a spade. She's still a good-looking lady, but that's dwindling by the day. You don't have the youth and the fertility that you did before. Yeah, it's going to be a problem for you. But and again, you price yourself out of a market. Could you expect the same prices the same prices that you demanded at 28 at 48? And listen, yesterday's price is not today's price. It's going to drop. And men realize that you are a nuisance. You are too masculine. You are too well. You're too aggressive. You're too yeah, non-cooperative. You're too non-submissive to deal with anymore. And the juice ain't worth the squeeze anymore, Melissa. The juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Have proven I can take very good care of myself. And my standards are based on what I have been able to provide for myself. Um,
What have you provided for yourself, Melissa? You have no job. The only job you have is for all intents and purposes, a YouTube channel that, if we had to do the math, does not pay you relatively well. So, and Lord knows, if you see her T-shirt, she has the picture of Red Fox. If that's one of you here, well, oh my God, Fox, one of the great comedians of our of any time, of all time, ladies and gentlemen. But if that is your hero, there's a lot to there's a lot to be answered here. But again, your time is up. You think your time is extended. You think you think you can live things on your own terms, which we hope you can, because no man's going to be standing for this sort of rhetoric, for this sort of nonsense from a woman who clearly is aging, as you can see by this photograph here. You clearly are aging and in the wrong direction, my dear. And your defiance. Listen, this video here is probably the only sort of traction, the only sort of well interview you'll get at this time. Shan is doing you a solid. And by coming back to you and offering you a second interview, your humility is non-existent, and no man wants to stand for that. Not even Joe Budden. That's the reason why you got kicked off his podcast, and you are here now, just trying living in regret. And well, the, the, you don't realize you're cooked, even though the skillet is on high. Let's continue.
but at the end of the day, I found it really interesting that people seem to feel like I need to justify what makes my life meaningful. I have determined what makes my life meaningful. I have my own system of values. I have my own ethics, my own moral code. I know what I place high on the list and what is not very important to me. And I have constructed my life in a way where I'm content every single day. Every single day. I don't want for anything. And I'm not even talking about material things here. I wake up to unconditional love from my puppies. You know,
Okay, now this when you see a woman receiving unconditional love from her puppies, you know it's cope. You know it is absolute cope. The rose is literal. The nubs on the rose are literally wearing off. It's clear that she has she has married herself to from a set of batteries that she renews on a weekly basis, and she is for her to be bestowing her love on dogs. Well, that is clearly a psychological coping mechanism uh, uh, that KS has already gone ad litem into upon his being alive. And listen, if you're bestowing love on a dog that you could on a man, well, you know you're cooked. You literally know you're cooked. It's pretty much over for you. It is done news. Do mention and comment on the show here on Talk Live. I want to hear from you guys, ladies and gentlemen. But this lady, if she has to bestow her love on dogs, you know it's nowhere. You know the time has come. You know that well, I would see there are two rows for her. Yes, that she continues to wear dogs, and that she, as Kevin would say, be denied by Korokoshi. She would be found wrapped in some sort of, and I don't wish this for her. I do not wish this for her. I wish her all the success. I wish that she comes to Jesus. I wish she has to come to Jesus moment and realizes that what she's doing is literally madness, and that she takes her love out of dogs and puts it back into humans, and understands that the end is not pretty. It won't be pretty, and not as pretty as her looks for the last, I would say, 30 plus years. And quite simply, it's going to come to a head that Kodakashi's coming, and we may find her and her remains uncared for, unkept, because Lord knows, I mean, her relatives will be gone, she'll be gone, and someone will have to look out for the smells. Let's continue.
Like, and they bring me so much joy. Am I saying that there's a, there's no difference between, my dogs and romantic love? No, they're not the same thing at all. But I will not go searching for romantic love when, by my own lived experiences, I would get further in life drawing a circle on a brick wall and smashing my head in the middle of it.
Okay, so let's now see. I love that Shan laughed at this because she sees this as comedy. She sees this as entertainment, but she would never go down the same route. Shan would never ever go down the same route. She realizes the pitfall. She realizes the pratfalls. She has done the work. I think she has some measure of psychological education. So she realizes that she does not want this fate at all. She doesn't. Melyssa still thinks she's 28 years old. She hasn't aged. She hasn't aged. Her mind is still telling her she's 28. That's Melyssa. Melyssa Ford still thinks, hey, I am. Yeah, I am. I'm still the video vixen. I'm still in the Nelly videos. I'm still in the I'm still on the Joe Budden podcast. I'm still killing it, and men are there absolutely scraping on my door. I'm just waiting for the dog's bark to simmer down so I can I can deal with all the continuous demands from men at a time, and I can weigh my options from there. Those days are gone now. She doesn't understand that, but she really still thinks that life is the same as she was 20 years ago. When that days those days are gone. See, those days are well and truly gone. Her leaving the Joe Budden podcast should have been her smack of reality. It's that she realizes that she has to buy her own drinks. She can't get into VIP anymore. She can't procure the highest value men possible. They've been and gone. You can't provide them a legacy, so they're gone. They're out of here. They're gone. She is so cooked. She just doesn't realize it yet. And Shan does. That's why she laughs. That's why she understands. It's the same thing um, with, I'll tell you, it's the same sort of thing with Michelle Obama and Tracy Ellis Ross. Tracy Ellis, Michelle Obama lives vicariously through Tracy Ellis Ross. She knows she has a great man at home. She knows she has the best man possible. She wouldn't want any man. She wouldn't want to change lines with anybody. But she sees Tracy Ellis Ross as comic relief, someone she can live vicariously through. Oh yeah, you become the mattress actress. Oh, I just please regale me of your stories of you being absolutely back blown out and being, yeah, some guy's fantasy, well into your 60s and 70s. Please do it. Even though you had all the advantages of life, please do it. But would I want to change places with you? Absolutely not. Michelle Obama would never want to trade places with Tracy Ellis Ross, and Shan Boudram would never want to trade places with a Melyssa Ford because she knows there lies madness, there lies absolute lunacy. She wants no part of the insane asylum. Let's continue.
Like, I don't want it. I don't desire it. I don't desire it. I'm not looking for it. If it falls in my lap, yay. But I'm not sitting in a waiting room anywhere. I'm not.
Yeah, you see, she's waiting for someone to come her way. She's waiting for someone to give her the offer of her lifetime. Melissa, let me say this again. The offer of a look at her shirt, Red Fox giving the finger. You know what? That describes her whole life. her whole adult life. Just ugly. Just ugly. Even though she is a beautiful lady, her insides are ugly, and it shows on the T-shirt. It shows. It literally shows. Her attitude, her outlook on life. She realizes that she has been tossed and turned and thrown out there by Pookie's Ray Rays, men considering themselves high value men. She's had years of it, and she knows, and she's just been used, abused, and tossed away. Used, abused, and tossed away. Used, abused, and tossed away. And instead of doing the right thing and focusing on men who, would really take her seriously, she still thinks that the men of top caliber are after her and they'll land on her lap. Such is the delusion with this lady. And quite simply, it is mind blowing. It's mind blowing. This is a study that all women should watch. Don't be a Melyssa Ford, please. Please, I beg of you. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Find someone. Listen, if you want to go the alphabet route, please do it. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Lana. Yes, indeed. She's in the comments. Please find someone for yourself. Now, if you want to go down the alphabet route, go down the alphabet route, but I know most of you don't. And if you don't, and you value your life, you value your sanity, you value that's a World Cup, right? Yes, indeed. What's a World Cup? I don't know. It's a World Cup. It's a World Cup, Lana BK. Yes, indeed. That is a World Cup. Sorry, Lana referred to referred to refer to the commentary tonight as a World Cup. No, that's a World Cup. That is a World Cup, Lana BK. Thank you very much for the commentary. But shout out to everyone here on Talk Live, Live on IG, YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment. The road to 1,000 subscribers. We're to on our way to 1,000 subscribers, as stated. And shout out to Team England, and shout out to Duntalk, DUNTLK.com. Spring Summer line out now. Please go get it while you can. But yeah, this lady still thinks that her listen, her pum pum's worth $1 million. She still thinks that at 48, she still thinks that her life is so valuable that any man, be they a sultan, king, uh, titan of industry, will need to come in and save this woman. Sorry, they're not coming for you anymore. You're lucky to get an average guy to come for you, Melyssa. I'm sorry. It's the truth. So you and your dogs need, and I repeat, need to hold each other close because the dark days are here. Winter is arrived. Kevin said it so eloquently well. Winter is here. And for the likes of women like you with dark souls, I kid you not, you don't like the end of it. Shan don't like the end of it. You won't like the end of it, my dear. I hope you change your ways and soon because only God can help. Now, let's continue.
Just sitting in a waiting room waiting for my number to be called. Like, here he is, Melyssa. It's not that important to me. I have very strong views just about the gift that life is and what we should be able to do with it. It is a gift from source, God, spirit, whatever you want to call it. It is a gift that has been bestowed to you. What are you going to do with it?
And good question. Excellent question, Melyssa. God gave you a gift, and that was beauty. You are one of the baddest females of the last 25 years, especially within the African diaspora space. You were one of the baddest. Men were fighting hand over fist for your presence, for your favor, and yet you wasted it. Wasted talent. It is the worst, the worst thing that can happen to anyone. You were given the gift of beauty. And I mean, you could have been with titans of industry, you could have been with the best of actors if you played the game right. But you didn't. You didn't. You chose wrong on many an occasion. And I kid you not, you are paying for it now. You are paying for it. When you went to the Joe Budden podcast, it was pretty much your mea culpa. It was your last chance, and you squandered that because men, for the most part, watch Joe Budden. Influential men, in fact. If you had acted to a certain extent fit, feminine, friendly, and most importantly, cooperative, submissive on that show, you know what would have happened? Potentially, you could have been wiped out. Potentially. But you wasted that because your mouth just can't be silent and still. You just can't be humble. You think the world owes you something, and it doesn't. And I pray that you get the psychological support you need. Because I still think there's good inside you, Melissa. However, what has happened is God gave you a gift and you absolutely threw it in the trash. You were the baddest lady out there for a good long time. Did you take it to your advantage? No. Many would. You could have been a baller's wife. You could have been like Lala Anthony. You could have been a wife of a man who's a titan of industry if you played correctly, but you didn't. You thought that the world owed you something. You thought that you could walk out there and you deserved the best simply because I'm Melissa Ford. This is my face. This is my body. I deserve the best, and so you need to give it to me. Well, that only works for so long. That only works for so long. And then you're cooked. Then you have to buy your own drinks. And then you have to buy your own dog food. And then you have to pay your own rent. And then the men stop calling. And then you don't get into VIPs anymore. And then you become a cautionary tale. An absolute cautionary tale. And for you to not pass these your mistakes along to the next generation is a dereliction of duty of the highest order. Of the highest order. You could not. Oh, listen, you're going to be a cautionary tale regardless. Let me say that again. You're going to be a cautionary tale regardless. Women out there within the sound of my voice, and I know there are not many, but there are a few. Do not see this woman as your hero. Please don't. Please, 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 please don't. This girl had everything, and now all she has is Red Fox on a t-shirt with the middle finger in the air. Don't do it. Please, I beg of you, don't do it. It is what it is. This woman is cooked. She is so cooked. She had all the advantages life could throw at her. Same as Tracy Ellis Ross. All the advantages. And what did she do? She squandered them. Squandered them. And now she's here alone and defiant. And guess what? This is probably the only interview she's going to get outside of her own podcast. Shan's doing her a solid, as stated. Other than this, nothing. Nothing, 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 nothing. Maybe she'll get a hosting gig here and there, but other than that, you're 48 now. We're looking for the new ones. We're looking for the young ones. Because there's one thing Melissa Ford doesn't understand. There's one of her born every minute. Every single minute. And the moment you think that the world owes you something, God will show you something different. Just like you were on the Joe Budden podcast. You thought Joe owed you something by your presence on his show. Now, he said, let's get her out of here. I can easily replace your ass. No, no, no. This whole feminist goddamn high and mighty bullshit ain't coming down here. And out she went. The only problem is you're not Rory and Mal. You don't have certain qualities and talents within an industry. You're there to comment on certain subject matters. And once those days are done, you're out of here. What is your claim to fame? What is your expertise? What is it that sets you apart from the rest? What intelligentsia can you drum up to make people pay attention? Nothing. Literally nothing. Literally nothing. You are here on your facial features alone. That led us to this point in time. You're fighting for your life. You're fighting for your life here, Melyssa. You are fighting for your life. This is a fight. This is a fight for your life. Let that be said on all so many levels. This is a fight for your life. And unfortunately, you're losing. And men aren't caring. And soon you'll be relegated to the annals of history as that bad girl. And I mean bad. She was bad back in the, oh my god, early 2000s. No, very few as good as Melyssa, but she could have maybe compared herself to a Halle Berry 2000 Swordfish. It was close. It was nip and tuck. But even Halle Berry had to come home. But you didn't. You wanted to raise turkeys, cats, and dogs, and pigs, horses on a farm. Yeah, that farm life is going to be hella bad with that weave you got on. Let's continue.
Every single day, I wake up excited about how I get to plan and think about how I'm going to enjoy this gift. It's a wonderful thing. So now I'm planning all kinds of travel through Europe and Africa with friends that love me and meeting up with.
Okay, this is where you know that life is getting hard because now you need friends to come in and be that placeholder that a man would be. Now you need to travel. Now you need to forget. You don't want to sit still. You can't sit still. You cannot sit still because sitting still reminds you of the past, and the past, for good and for bad, has led you here. So now you want to travel the world and see things, which is all well and good. Fine, go see the world. But it's not with, and you hear this from 95 to 99% of women. I know there are a few outstanding ladies who, of course, aren't part of the alphabet gang, but have pride. Uh, but they all will say they want to share those times with someone who they care deeply for. Such is the circle of life. Such is how the human species has continued onward for millennia. However, however, Melyssa's different. Melyssa's different. She's gonna stop the world and let everybody know that her travel is important, which is great, which is superb. But we know this is super cool. This is absolute super cool because if she had to stop and think and wonder, I mean, listen. Tracy Ellis Ross has a show. What's this called? Mattress actressing. Sorry, it's called solo traveling or solo wandering or one of these things. And where she, all these ladies want to travel. They want to get away because they can't stand the silence. The silence is gonna kill them. They can't stand to be alone with themselves and their thoughts and their regrets and their mistakes. Do you get it? That's the reason why they travel around the world. That's the reason why they try different spaces because they know. They know that life is closing in. The mistakes you made are becoming more and more apparent. I very much, I don't know. if she's going to go down the Naomi Campbell route of, creating her own baby, I wouldn't doubt it because the sounds will be too deafening, and she knows that, she's got to create a legacy somehow, some way. So she's going to create a son or daughter, a sort of a son or daughter husband. But that wouldn't that wouldn't escape me. But again, we'll see what her budget, if her budget allows for it. But that's the reason why she's traveling, because she knows that sitting in silence is only debilitating her psychologically. Let's continue.
Friends that love me in other parts of the world. And I mean, that's just, it makes me just so happy and so pleased. Where does it sound like anything's missing here?
Right. Which is something that
We all know there's something missing here, but let's continue.
we pointed out in that. Okay.
Is that too much?
No. Great.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay, great, exactly. So let's move on to the next subject. Lord knows that, yeah. Oh, done. Okay, isn't that great? Oh yeah, great. See how arranged this is. See how contrived this is, people. See how contrived this is. Yeah, look, I'm going to state my truth. Oh my God, what a strange phrase. Anyways, she's gonna state her truth. She's gonna state her cope. She's gonna state her lies, and then what? And then, on to the next scene. So let's get to the next scene, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to the next scene. We're gonna go down. So we went to the concept of kitting. Uh, why single women gets judged differently? Let's go there. It's just a couple goals. Yeah, let's go from why single men are differently and couple goals. Let's go through this. Let's have her own say, and then we'll take it from there with Melyssa Ford. So we're gonna fast forward here. Yep.
Again, because we don't apply that logic to Leonardo DiCaprio
Fair
or
use,
to
fair
Michael B.
use.
Jordan or to Trevor Noah.
No, we don't. We don't. Lovely guys, but no, we don't put the same pressure on them whatsoever. We
And
hold
their excuse is just not as good.
not.
Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go back for a second, and hear what she has to say about this, because this is important.
Again, because we don't apply that logic to Leonardo DiCaprio or
We
to Michael B.
don't.
Jordan or to Trevor Noah.
No, we don't. We don't. Lovely guys, but no, we don't put the same pressure on them whatsoever.
And you know why we don't put the pressure on them whatsoever? Because they have a longer shelf life. They can get a woman at 25, as DiCaprio has done, or they can get another lady 35, but all are contributors, still contributors to society. Trevor Noah, Michael B. Jordan, Leonardo DiCaprio, all these people are still great contributors to society. Why? Because they can still have babies. They can still create legacies. They still have great work. They can still choose a lady who's at a McDonald's and somehow make her. You see the whole queendom thing here. Watch. She could make her a first lady. All these men could do that. Still do that. Ask if Melyssa Ford can do that herself. No, she can't. Want to know why? Here's the reason why. She cannot create legacies with these gentlemen. Can't do it. Can't. She can try. She can't do it. Lord knows it's going to take. It's going to take a lot of money. And guess who's going to foot the bill? The men. And you know what? They're going to do a cost. A lot of these guys are going to do a cost benefit analysis, and realize that it's not worth the squeeze. Because Lord knows she's not going to pay for it. Melyssa Ford is not going to pay for lineage. Not a chance. No chance whatsoever. No. No. It's going to have to be the man to do that. And when they do the cost benefit analysis, she's 48, and you got the attitude. Let me see if she's, and then you weigh up the options. You realize that, yeah, it's going to be a problem. But the likes of Trevor Noah, the likes of Michael B. Jordan, who are all in their 40s, still with vast amounts of wealth that you don't have, Melyssa. Unfortunately for them, they could choose a lady at a McDonald's, or a lady behind the Sephora counter, or a lady who is a struggling actress, or anyone who is of 8, 9, 10 variety, and make them a queen and make them a first lady. No problem. You can't. That's why it's different. That's exactly why it's different for you, Melyssa. Listen up.
We
And their
hold
excuse is just not as good.
not.
We had Afion Crockett on the podcast.
Yeah, I saw.
Who he said he's a great fan. He adores you.
I love Afion.
He loves you back.
Yeah.
And so he was saying, I was posing to him about what we were chatting about and the concept around Bething and if that feels resonant for him because Afion's 50 plus and also single.
Yeah.
And he was like, there are parts of it that I definitely resonate with, but I'll never say that I'm fine without a woman.
Yeah.
I need a woman, I love women. Which is logical to say if you're in the position that men are in, because there tend to be statistically more women who are financially stable, who are emotionally intelligent and have put the effort towards themselves and do.
That's cope. That's literal cope. To say that there are more women, well, there are more women, period, because that's what society brings. So, of course, there are going to be more women. But to say that there aren't men who aren't of the same ilk is a bit of a fallacy. But a lot of you ladies write these men off. You don't see them. They're, unless they read a certain look standard, they are, ether to you. 51% of black men are single and childless. 64% of the middle class. But do they measure up? No, because they don't miss the looks. So for you to say there are more women out there, well, that's slightly problematic. But let me say this as well. With regards to those ladies, a lot of those ladies who are of successful varieties, the walls tend to close in on them. They tend to be of a, how should I say this? They tend to be of a, and do comment down below, guys. I want to hear from you tonight. Thank you very much, Lana VK, for what you had to say there. The walls close in, the more money that they make. And they're on a timeline, do remember, because their time at the top is tied to their fertility, whether they like it or not. But the more money they make, the more selective they are in terms of their mate. So the more the doors close because they're not going to come out and choose a man who's sweeping the aisles at their local supermarket. They're not going to come out and choose a guy who's cleaning their pool. They're not going to go out and choose a man who's a garbage, who's shifting garbage. They're not going to go out and choose a man who works hard every day for an average pay. They're not going to do that. Such as hypergamy. So the walls are closing in on them. Myron said it best. When men's income increases, doors open. When women's income increases, doors close. Because they are choosing themselves around a selective group of men, the top 10% that hopefully will choose them. But more often than not, they don't want to choose them because they don't want these attitudes. They don't want these mannish behaviors. Like Melyssa Ford, she's masculine to a fault. Don't want to see any part of her in their vicinity. They want peace, they want joy, they want femininity. Melyssa Ford is none of that. She used to be, but not anymore. Life has unfortunately chewed her up and spit her out. And now she has her dogs to cry with. And her friends to take her around the world so she doesn't have to deal with the cold. And this is where we stand. This is where we are. This is where Melyssa Ford's life is, and something that Shan does not want to be a part of. But to say that there are more capable women, yeah, you could have more capable women, but guess what? With more capable women, becomes less options for you because women have a complete checklist, same as Melyssa Ford, that men have to live up to, and most men won't. And of the men that do, well, they have the pick of the litter, don't
Who have socially rich lives. So yes, statistically, it actually is more weird to meet a man who is not choosing to partner with a woman than it is to meet a woman who's not choosing to partner with a man.
That part. If there was a whole bunch of,
they? Say that again. I want to hear that one more
who
time.
are emotionally intelligent and have put the effort towards themselves and do have socially rich lives.
When you say emotional intelligence, well, listen, that's simpish behavior. We all know that. They want a man who's in touch with their feelings and, They don't want to. They don't want a confident, intelligent, assertive man. They want a man that fits to their feminist moral standards. And yeah, crazy talk. Just crazy talk, Shan. Let's continue.
lives. So, yes, statistically, it actually is more weird to meet a man who is not choosing to partner with a woman than it is to meet a woman who's not choosing to partner with a man.
That part.
Yeah, there's more. Yeah, men. Listen, men do the choosing here. Whether you like it or not, men do the choosing. Women can't stand that. But when it comes to marriage, oh, these little gray hairs are showing. Uh, better get yourself to the hairdressers, dear. Men do the choosing. Sorry, Melissa, that is true. Men do the choosing, and get used to it. We are the ones. Women choose the choosing when it comes to sex. Men do the choosing when it comes to relationships and marriage. We're the ones who get down on one knee. We're the ones who have to provide a home to allow for a family to thrive. Not very often is it the other way around, whether you like it or not. Such is tradition. But these girls want to flip it on its head, which is fine. Fine. Do what you want to do. Melissa, go nuts. But don't think that you're going to upend a system that's been working for thousands of years. It's not. It's not going to happen. Sorry. Never have, never will. No, it's not. No. And you will tear your hair out, but it's not going to change results. So the man that you are looking for, the confident, intelligent, assertive male that dominates the boardroom, yet kills it in the bedroom, yet is a model by day, a billionaire by night, that is just waiting on your doorstep, waiting to give you the world. He ain't coming. He's not coming. Unless you're willing to get on this planet, he's not coming. He's not coming. He's not nowhere near coming. And he's definitely not coming now that you're of this advanced age. No. You missed the boat. And sorry to say, um, you got to live with those regrets.
That part. If there was a whole bunch of, like, who can I think of that's like a really good dude that's not an ass, who's like really great to his
Barack?
wife? Sure, let's go with Barack.
Oh, of course I gotta go with Barack. You see, here's the deal, guys. Here's the one deal. They want a man like Barack, a progressive who has his stuff together, who is a statesman, a world leader, who can give them a world and everything in it. They all want their own Barack. They all want their own Russell Wilson. They all want their own. But it's going to cost something of you. See, here's the thing about Michelle that you're not understanding. Michelle had, if you had a Barack in your life, especially this lady here, let's go with Barack. If Melissa Ford had a Barack in her life, he couldn't stand the sight of her. He would leave within a 2 to 3 year span, or vice versa. Because to have a man like Barack means you have to be a high value woman at the end of the day. That's exactly what. And here's the thing about Michelle that nobody understands, and the reason why Barack went down and looks to go up in cooperation. Michelle's a good-looking lady, let me say that, but there are levels. She is cute to a certain extent. However, Michelle realized that she had to do this. She had to do the small things. She had to do the groundwork. She could not go in and be as demanding as old Melissa Ford right here. Sure, let's go with Barack. She would never find Barack Obama would never stay with her because she cannot sit still. She cannot be silent. Same thing with Megan Thee Stallion. Cannot be silent. That's the reason why Tristan Thompson say, "Nope, we're out of here. Get you out of here. Get you going. Oh, bye. See ya." And these ladies don't understand what it takes to be with Barack. Do you understand what it takes to be a Michelle Obama? The sacrifice it takes, the held tongue it takes, the children it takes to bear. Because I'm telling you something, Melissa ain't bearing no kids. That's part of the reason why she's here. She didn't want any children. She didn't. She didn't. She didn't. She didn't. If she did, she would have had them already. And if she does, okay, maybe I'll change my mind. But if she really wanted them, she would have had them. But she doesn't want them. She's too selfish to have them. That's what you're not getting here. She's too selfish to have them. For you to be with Barack, it takes the ultimate of sacrifice. Be a high value man's woman is something completely different that this girl doesn't have no idea what it takes. She's got the fitness, she got the friendliness, she has the I don't know about the friendliness. Let's cut that out. She has the femininity. Yeah, she's a pretty girl. Does she have the cooperation, submissiveness? Nope. Nope. Absolutely not. When it comes to slings and arrows being pointed at you from every electorate over the last, let's call it, 18 years, and staying silent and being reserved and being demure and raising your family as if your life depended on it, being strong yet being silent, being focused yet being reserved, it's difficult. Something that the likes of a woman like Melissa Ford could never do. She could never, ever, ever do that. But let's hear what she has to say about Barack, please.
You know who I'm a really big fan of, the couple wise? Sally Richardson Whitfield and Dondre Whitfield. Yeah.
We had him on the podcast.
I'm a huge fan.
We did.
I'm a huge. Am I in bed with these people? No, I don't know their lives, but I have seen them. They've been married for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
They're very, very supportive of each other's careers. And Dondre is a womanist. He is.
Ah, there we go. I was waiting for that. These women want their own simps. They want men they can tell what to do and how to do it. He's a womanist. You see, this is. They want their own blue pill men tailored and fashioned for themselves that they could run at their own leisure. But here's the thing about those men: they're very few and far in between. Number one and number two, they tend not to be. Hmm, want to be occupy the top spaces of anything. Here's especially say it's rare to get a Barack, but a Barack is well, he's a progressive, yes, but he's a statesman, yes, but Barack has to show a strong side sooner or later, and a woman like Michelle had to fall in line. This DeAndre guy that she's talking about, she wants her own simp. She wants her own man that she can tell what to do and how to do it with. She wants her own say. But the thing about it is, for the man, she really, really, she wants a DeAndre mixed with a man who calls his own shots. As Ebony K. Williams has said, one who owns the bus. Let me say this about those type of guys. They're few and far between, if not non-existent. She wants her a man that does not exist. Let me make this perfectly clear. She wants a man who runs companies, who but yet is soft so that she can run him. And that does not is not readily available in most places, if anywhere. And that's why she's single. She's looking for someone who clearly is non existent, a man who's a womanist. I was just waiting on that. We'll be back here on Talk Live on IG. We're coming back here, but we're going to continue here on YouTube. So stay tuned to our people on IG. Do come back and stay tuned. Thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Live, live on IG, YouTube, going into the second hour. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Yes, indeed, we're in that now. Yeah. And we're just going to get back onto the IGist, meist. But do stay with us on YouTube as we get in back here on IG. Thank you very much for joining me here on Talk Live, live on IG, YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers back on IG. Right. So we are looking for this. We are waiting on this. She wants a man who doesn't exist. Clearly doesn't exist. And if they don't exist, and if they're not there to braid her hair or color her ends, and yet can get into the office and kick ass and take names, well, she doesn't want them. So here we are. Here we clearly are, and quite simply, men aren't here to hear it. They're not here to hear it. But let's continue.
He is very like, he'll go up to women in the supermarket. Sis, if you need anything, if you need to be walked to your car, if you're fearful, come find me. Like, he's just a really good dude. You know what I mean?
Of course, there's a good dude because he has a certain look to him. But there are many men who will protect and provide for you. You don't want to see them because they don't look like him. Continue.
So I'm not one to idolize other people's relationships, but I will
Yes,
say, if it don't look something like that, I don't want it.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. She doesn't want it. I said it already. She wants her own blue pill simp model slash captain of industry. That's who she wants. But it's non existent. Doesn't exist. So, hope you can treat your own roots. Let's continue.
I don't want it. I want, like, the guy that I would be involved with, God, he's special. He's special. He's special, and I just haven't found that.
Yeah.
I want to say that he had this moment in the podcast, which I'm just going to like pin to my heart forever, where I asked him about his son, and he closed his eyes and opened them, and a single tear fell, and he said,
"My son is my hope for every woman."
He wants, this is what we're looking for. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for their own simpish male. God bless DeAndre, but they want a man who can who that can cry and yet can use that same thing against them in future. That's what they want. Who can cry at a dime of a hat. Will listen to what they have to say, and yeah, can take on the world and everything in it, and bring home the bacon, and they can keep their feet up while they tell them what. While Melyssa tells him what to do. Yeah, we know that they're not existing right now, especially for you at your age. But we'll let DeAndre have his crying moment.
His heart, it's so gigantic. He's so spiritually sensitive. He's such a servant. When I tell you that boy's manhood, I would put up against any man right now at 17 years old. That dude is ready to be somebody's husband right now.
My friend, Jeff Friday, the founder of the American Black Film Festival, he's like my brother from another set of parents. He's like one of the first people that I met when I moved here from Canada. He's raising two incredible young men. My girlfriend Monica is raising two incredible young men. Like, sometimes, you know, like, by extension, you know, I can apply the nurturing love that I would have had for my own child through my friends' children, because my friends are my family. I am part of the rich auntie faction.
That's right. She doesn't want it. Listen, she does not want the stretch mark. She doesn't want it. Let me say this. If she's going to have a baby, she's going to have it through a surrogate. well, listen, her her eggs are fried. Okay, so let's call a spade here. But she does not want to ruin her figure. She doesn't want to ruin herself. She under listen. That's the reason why she's hadn't had a child to this day. And if it's gonna be with one, it's gonna be with a surrogate, and she ain't paying for it. So once again, she's cooked. Once another reason why she's cooked. But again, she wants a simp that she can have on her own, like a child who's emotionally vulnerable and cries at most things and is not confident, intelligent, assertive. She doesn't want that guy. She wants a guy who can he be bullied maybe, but who's relatively stoic, but is a captain of industry, which is non-existent. So now she's auntie. She's auntie to
And I'm very, 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 very content with being there. I love it. I love it. I love I I love my life. I really, really, really do. And I just don't have to justify
Well, you don't have a choice, do you, dear? You don't have a choice. Continue.
it to anybody. I don't need to convince anybody at all. If you're not convinced, I don't care. I really don't, So that's where things sit with me, girl.
And the thing,
Excellent. So we're gonna leave it there for a second. Now we're gonna move on because Lord knows they're gonna go into the whole coping mechanism and continue onwards with that. Now, where are we at here? We're at the 39th. No, it's 59th, 39th, so 20th minute, I believe, the 20th minute. So let's see here. 20th minute. Why representation changes everything? Why no longer feel safe dating? Okay, so man hates. If you feel attacked, ask why. Masculinity is due for an upgrade. Let's talk about that. Masculinity is due for an upgrade. Now, I'm sure at this point she will speak on. Well, she's given a little inkling as to what she's looking for in a man. Period. But now, maybe she'll give a little more insight into that here. So let's get into it here. Masculinity is due for an upgrade. Let's continue.
and so we got more masculine and we rounded ourselves out. And so now here we are, and now it's men's opportunity to get more feminine or whatever you want to call it. I like to think of
Yeah, that I said it. This is an opportunity for men to get more feminine. The minute that men get more feminine, this world collapses. It will collapse on its head top. There's a circle of life that I follow, and it goes a little something like this. And we're in those times where men are getting a little more feminine. Absolutely. Oh, listen, the amount of alphabet gang that's out there right now is growing, and it's due to a fact that men aren't willing to fight anymore. They're not willing to be men anymore. So let's continue with this. Let's guide this down the path. Happy Pride. Anyways, but the continuing falls like this: good times bring weak men. Weak men bring bad times. Bad times bring strong men. Strong men bring good times. Guess where we are in that continuum? Weak men bringing bad times. You guessed it. That's what happens when you bring more feminine men into the picture, especially in the West. Because Lord knows, you think they're talking about this in China? You think they're talking about this in Russia? You think they're talking about this in Iran? You think they're talking about these most superpowers? Nope, nope. That's why the U.S. is falling behind in most categories because there are more feminine men out there. And one thing I'll give Donald Trump credit for is bringing back masculinity. That's one thing. Now, is he a masculine asshole? Yes, he is. Let's call it let's say that. But sometimes you gotta be an asshole to be a man. Just saying. But that's the world that women want to live in. They want to live in a world where men are more feminine. They're in touch with their feminine side. They get this emotional intelligence, all this nonsense, all this bile, all these things that have led to hardships in society for decades. That's how Sodom and Gomorrah fell. That's how most, well, That's how Rome fell to a certain extent because femininity was introduced to masculinity into the masculine phase, and men can be sensitive, but they still have to be strong. The world does not succeed with more feminine men. If that is the oxymoron of oxymorons, I don't know what to say. Men have to be masculine, or the world does not turn the way it has for centuries. We are we will be set with a more dire economy and with a quite simply a worse world. Again, it makes for bad times. That's the reason why we're in recessionary tactics like this, and why the U.S. is falling behind most superpowers these days. Is because they allow femininity on many fronts, on many in many phases. Now, again, are there feminine ladies who are of a good amount of intelligence? Absolutely. Yes. But masculinity should not be shunned. Masculinity should not be tossed out because it's that masculinity that has brought the world to the point where it is today. And we are going down a deep, dark, negative rabbit hole if we enter into a world where Shan wishes to be. Let's continue.
Masculine and feminine as just energies, whereas masculine is a very forward energy, and feminine is a very grounded energy. It's very still, very it's present. So we're not in the future. We're just present. We're with ourselves. We're asking ourselves, how do I actually feel? Not what's the next 5 minutes going to do, or what do I need to do next, or how do I have to show this person so I can keep up my image for them in the future. Like, what's actually happening with me right now? So I think it's a beautiful invitation for men to start redefining what manhood is in the same ways that women have spent the past 200 years, in America at least, redefining what it means to be a woman.
And that's the reason why we have a large amount of divorce rates. That's the reason why that a lot of men have been taken out of the dating market. That's the reason why many men, a third of men, have not had sex in a year. There are problems, people, and it is going to come due a rebellion to which a lot of women don't want to deal with. See, here's the thing about feminism. Feminism cannot stand without masculine protection. Say that again. Feminism cannot stand without masculine protection. Women aren't going to take arms and defend feminism. It's not. Feminism would fall on its head. It's through masculine. Uh, it's through masculine allowance that we allow feminism to thrive in certain segments. That's the reason why now we have more HRs and most offices. However, and which is fine, which is all well and good, but to think that the world can get even more feminine, you really don't want that. You really, 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 really don't want that. You really don't want a world where men can't decide whether to protect or provide. You don't want that. You don't really want um, where men cannot be masculine dominant families. You really don't want that. You don't want female led families. Female led families has led to the birth rate the way it is, the single motherhood the way it is, the sexual, well, the whole phases the way they are, and the decline of society is the way it is, especially in the U.S. And this is a road you do not wish to traverse at all. You don't, because other societies are planning for change and they're going to eat the US's lunch. Luckily, they have a show of power, a show of strength that even Barack had to dig into from time to time. But for society to be even more feminine, yeah, yeah, bad times are coming, ladies. Bad times are coming if that is indeed the case. Yeah.
And I think on the other side of it, everybody wins, but we have to participate. And it starts with the question, what are some of the long held beliefs that I have had that may need to be challenged?
Yeah, and if you find yourself getting irritated or upset or offended by women saying, "Oh, I choose the bear," and not all men, but always a man, why don't you sit with that feeling of irritation and wonder, why do I feel this way? Do you feel this way because you feel like you're being called out? Maybe because maybe some decision.
Here's the thing about it, Melyssa. We don't care. We literally don't care. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care. We laugh at your lunacy that you choose the bear. It's absolutely stark raving mad on your part to even choose a bear. Because listen, a hungry bear, you don't want to be on your side because he's choosing you. He's choosing any portion of your flesh to which nourishes him. So for you to choose the bear, oh, men should be thinking about their no, men don't care. Literally don't care. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care. We laugh at you at choosing the bear. We'll actually laugh at it. It is, yeah, female logic that's gone to the dogs. They've checked out. They have seemed to have lost sense of reality, lost touch with sanity when they choose the bear. So we don't care. We literally don't care. You'll never find a man. Listen. What do we got here? For the next 50 minutes, we're just gonna say we're gonna say it right now. You're cooked. You are seriously cooked. And for you to ask us about the bear and where we sit in society that and ask you why you choose the bear. I think those eyelashes are on too tight there. I think they're clouding your judgment and your limited intelligentsia. To be fair, let's continue.
Decisions or things that you have done in the past kind of resemble what women are categorizing as, you know, acts committed without consent. I mean, you have to sit with it to understand it. Women are literally just asking men to question themselves and question their friends and also hold their friends to standards. You could be
Yeah, okay, no. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. Melissa, listen, as Stephen A said, we don't care. We literally don't care. We literally don't care. We don't care. We don't care. Move on to a different subject. We don't care. We don't. Continue.
dude, that's not cool. And honestly, I don't want to be around that kind of conversation. No, you have a wife? Don't you have daughters? Like, what's wrong with you, kind of thing? Like, we want the good guys to start calling it out, you know? And for the guys, I get so frustrated whenever the guys who do call it out, who have platforms and call it out, all you see are men in there calling him simp and beta and
Cause he is. Now you're getting it. He is. That man is simp. That man is beta. That man is to be mocked and laughed at. Yes. Because any man worth his salt will look at this man and saying, "Do you have a third head? What are you doing to yourself? Why are you allowing this thought to enter into your mind? This is not how society has brought ourselves forward up until this point. It is through masculine dominance and intelligence that we've got ourselves here. Now, again, sprinkling femininity on the side. Yes, fine, all well. Listen, James Brown said it best. It's a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or girl. We get it. But for you to ask us to take on, this is part of your cookdom. For you to ask us to take on female traits, it is stunning. You might as well put us in a dress, walk us outside, and here's the thing: you wouldn't want those guys in the first place. You wouldn't want them. That's the reason why you're alone now. That's the reason why you're alone now, because this illusory man that you are cooking up doesn't exist. He simply doesn't exist. Because not only do you want this sensitive man, this sensitive type available, you want a man who has all the true masculine traits that makes him successful on top of that. That simply is not coming true. It's simply not. It's simply not, Melyssa. And that's the reason why you're so bloody cooked. That is that you just don't get it. You're surrounded by men on that Joe Budden podcast, and they're trying to show you what real manhood was, but yet you did not want to listen. You wanted to go your own way, which is fine. That's why you were fired. You were fired. You were let go. It was done silently. It was done surgically, but you were. Let's let her go. And that'll happen to the next podcast because guess what that podcast was built on? Yes, a certain amount of expertise in the music industry, but it was built on men being men. And for you to come in and turn the show around, oh, we know we need more feminine women on the show. You know how that show would not get any ratings if that were the case. No one would watch it anymore if that were the case. Oh, God.
This and that. And I'm just like, I feel sorry for y'all requiring so much validation from each other that it renders you silent. You know, that it forces you to make decisions that place you in categories of men, of other men that, you know, you don't align with. I feel sorry for you if that's the way, if
We don't care, Melyssa. We really don't care. Let's move on. Where are we at here? Is there anything else that we can glean from this? Okay, let's move on because Melyssa, you're cooked, and nobody's listening anymore. We're just tuning you out. We're just hearing you for a moment because you have sent some more shockwaves to the airwaves, and yet I don't know. The money's going to Shan, not you. Anyhow, you're poisoning young women. Why being single isn't a problem. Okay, and afterthoughts. Okay, so yeah, let's go. Okay, let's get into yes. My life doesn't end at 40. Let's end it. Well, let's make this the second last entry, and then we'll finish up with why being single isn't a problem. So, your life doesn't end at 40. Let's get into it.
I just watched a movie last night with Penelope Cruz, and I was like, how this woman is so hot and smart and with herself and talented. And I went and looked her up, and she was 52. She's never been sexier, never been cooler, everything about her.
we got lied to.
Yeah.
We got lied to that, you know, once a woman hits what, 35.
Wait,
with
back
herself
up.
and talented. And I went and looked her up, and she was 52. She's never.
Hold on. Let's hear it again. Who is this?
I just watched a movie last night with Penelope Cruz, and I was.
Penelope Cruz. Right. She's so strong. She's so talented. Wait for it. Wait for it. We're going to do an audible here, guys. We're doing an Omaha. Let's see. Let's see here. Sorry about this. There we go. There we go. Let's do this little audible here, a little Omaha here. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Penelope Cruz. Yes, indeed. Spanish actress. Oh, look at that. Spouse Javier Bardem. Hmm. Hmm. Really? Huh. Really? Married for 16 years. I'm sorry. I interrupted you there for a second. You were saying, Shan. I'm sorry. Speaking to another married woman. Yeah, absolutely. Who knew better? Anyways, let's continue. What's that?
I was like, how this woman is so hot and smart and with herself and talented. And I went and looked her up, and she was 52. She's
Yeah, and she realizes that she needed a man to get through life, and she got on with it. Well, she's a Spanish lady. You know, they understand that there's a role and there's a place and there's a time, and yeah. You understand that, Shen, don't you? Let's not eliminate. Let's hear from what Melyssa has to say from her singledom. Let's continue.
Never been sexier, never been cooler, everything about her.
We got lied to.
Yeah.
We got lied to that, once a woman hits, 35, 40, she got one foot in the grave and, nobody's going to want her. She turns invisible. I'm just like, well, first of all, a lot of women actually want to get a little invisible. They're exhausted from all the unsolicited, unwanted male behavior. Do you know how asexual I am right now? When it comes to just like being.
Well, most women are asexual until the top 10, the top 10% of male appear in front of them. Everybody else is pretty much oblivious to a woman like Melyssa Ford. But again, most men see her as oblivious as well. So turnabout is fair play. Let's continue.
Like an object of male desire. I feel very asexual these days, you know? I've been attractive most of my life, since I was like 11. And like a lot of young girls, I was followed home by a lot of creepy men circling the block, Those experiences touch us very, very early in life, very early. And that's not even the first experiences. I was even younger, where grown men were advancing towards me,
And I think this has affected her psychologically to this day. I don't think she trusts men at all. I don't think she trusts men at all. I think her childhood, her adolescence, and the way that men have treated her, I don't think she got the therapy that she needed to deal with such traumas, and that has put her in this capacity, in this light. And this is one thing I do feel sorry for Melyssa, that she did not get the therapy, the psychological aid that she needed in order to get through these things. Because I think that she is, I think, afraid to a certain extent of men, of certain men that aren't, laying themselves down at her feet. Uh, she's afraid of most men, and this is a serious problem in that um, men have to do better. I'll speak on her behalf. We have to do better in terms of making women trust certain people, and that means that men have to, I think, do better in terms of making themselves more confident, intelligent, assertive, and more approachable to ladies than ever before. And that means, more money, more muscle, more game, whole frame, to a point where, uh, you know, women of all kinds can feel safe with us. Uh, but a lot of men have checked out to that point because they realize that, you know, uh, their looks and their behaviors have counted themselves out of the industry, so they don't care anymore. And that's what's led a lot of women to, a lot of men to badly um, behave with women, and we need to change that. I think, and that's one thing I will say: men need to change that wholeheartedly. However, yeah, men are still have the most men still have the ability to protect and provide. It's just that you disregard them. You don't see them. You see them as invisible. But again, we see you as invisible too. Unfortunately, Melyssa. But point taken. Point taken. Let's continue.
And so developing a career where I literally live and make my money off of the male gaze, it wasn't a conscious decision that I made where I just one day woke up and said, men. That is not what happened. And that is not how I feel. What happened is I got into a car accident where I almost died. I had a traumatic brain injury. It took me almost a year to heal and feel some semblance of like myself again. And then my mom got sick with cancer, and a lot of very hard decisions had to get made by just me and her. And then pandemic hit, and my mother died, and my universe was rocked. And oh yeah, at the intersection of grief came perimenopause. What? And nobody.
And here's the problem. Not to say that she's not entitled to her grief. Not to say that she's not entitled to um, her dealing with her traumatic brain injury. No doubt about that. Nobody wants to befall that upon Melyssa Ford. However, pandemic hit. So at the pandemic, she would have been around 42 when all this happened, around in her early 40s. You mean to tell me that her she may have been in a different space before that if she only took heed of her youth, beauty, and fertility? If she realized that this does not last forever? I think that Melyssa has a sort of complex, can't put my name towards it, where she thought that these looks will get her into doors and involved with people that would put her in a certain lifestyle to which um, where she doesn't have to worry again. But she didn't realize that her attitude had put her out. Despite all the misgivings of, and we don't wish that befell on any woman, all her misgivings, she still had this arrogance that society owes me something. With these looks, society always owes me something. And that'll get you nowhere in this life. That'll get you nowhere. Despite all the pitfalls and pratfalls, she should have been well taken care of to the point where she didn't have to make a decision with regards to her mother. If she only trusted a man that she can love, honor, and respect. And they weren't out there because she wanted this man who is going to cater to her needs, who is going to be her simp and be her emotional crutch and be emotionally vulnerable and yet has $1 billion and could put her in a lifestyle to which she felt accustomed. It didn't exist. He didn't exist. That's why she got so angry post pandemic, post uh, traumatic brain injury, post mother passing away. She got angry because she believed life owed her something. With all these looks and all these men surrounding her, all these high value men surrounding her, she thought that life owed her something. And a high value man of well, certain sexual prowess, certain captain of industry appeal, certain statehood was going to come into her life and whisk her away into a life she felt that she deserved. Unfortunately, and so unfortunately, she never realized that she had to work for it. She never realized she had to be engaging in some humility herself. That she needed to be, despite despite the fact that she was fit, despite the fact that she was feminine, she had to be friendly, she had to be cooperative, she had to be submissive. And if you're missing those three things, femininity, cooperate, well, she was feminine, friendly, cooperative, and submissive, guess what? Especially to the right man, let alone to your friends. Your friends are, you're friendly to your friends, yeah, whatever. It's to that man. And since you couldn't be friendly to that man for a certain period of time, to the right man of a certain period of time, which you had ample opportunity to do, you are where you are. So now you need trips around the world to stop the silence and to forget the regrets. And here you are.
He explained what was going to happen with perimenopause. And what happens with perimenopause, it's a physiological, biological function where your sex hormones take a nosedive off a cliff. You know, they do this, they do this, they do this, they do this. You know, if your ass from your elbow. And somewhere in the midst of all of that, with the decrease in estrogen, comes our bucket of they just start to, they're just depleted. They're just depleted. And for the first time in my life, like the veil really raised and I was able to see myself for the first time ever without interruption, without, the male gaze or, my attractiveness defining me. Um, I began to realize that that was actually the least interesting thing about me. And obviously, I had therapists helping me work through all of these really strange,
Yeah, therapy? Interesting. How come it doesn't show? Anyways, continue.
disorienting, conflicting feelings. It's weird when you go from being highly desirable and also feeling like, very attractive and wanting to, like, consort with men to just feeling like I really want to be left alone. I really want to be left alone. Let me take my dogs and go off into the forest and just with my be left alone. I don't know how to explain it other than to say it's very.
Yeah, you don't have to explain it. You basically explained it. You basically explained it. And so here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna leave it there. There's nothing else to be said about this lady. She wants to be with her dog. She wants to be alone. So be it. So why are you on camera still talking about it? You should be alone. If you want to be alone, don't come on a Shambu Drem podcast and talk about the fact that you want to be alone. Just be alone. Just be alone. Be alone. Be alone. You cooked yourself, so be left with your own meal. You cooked yourself. You want to be alone? Be alone. We don't care anymore. We are done with the din of your complaints. We're done with the din of your regrets. We're done with the din of your anger. We're just done with it. Done. So done. You're so cooked. We're done. Done here. We're so done. We gave you. You were given chance after chance to rectify matters, and yet everything your mother had wanted for you, you squandered. Unfortunately, you squandered. She wanted you to be taken care of. She wanted you to be loved. She wanted you to be the focus of a family, but you wanted to be the bitch. Not to say you are a bitch, but you want to be one. So your attitude denotes it. And every opportunity that was thrown at you, you dismissed of it because you thought that you're deserving of a certain standard of love and care, a certain standard of lifestyle. Wasted youth, wasted talent, wasted gifts. You were given it. You were given everything. Same as Tracy Ellis Ross, same as Naomi Campbell, same as many of these starlets, these video vixens, these models. They were given everything. What did they do with the gifts they were given? That is the question. Fortunately, in Melissa Ford's case, she squandered those things. Now it's at a point where men don't care anymore. They just don't care. You're cooked. I hope you can find a man that is emotionally vulnerable and is a captain of industry and can shag you like a minx till the cows come home. Even if your sex drive is in the shooter. Hope you can find, and if so, I hope you can find a rose that will take care of that business for you. But now we're at a point we don't care. So, Melyssa, the sixth representative, we wish you well. We bid you adieu. Hope you have a fruitful life with your dogs, your cats, your horses, your sheep, your pigs, your farm, and carry on smart because we're not here to care anymore. Because, as they say, your goose is cooked. Thank you very much for talking to me on Talk Live, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to end it there. We'll be back on, well, listen, Friday's my birthday, so I'll probably be at the J game. That's what I like doing. If the Jays are in town, I usually like going to the J game for my birthday, Lord knows. October 23rd, 1993, 11:38 p.m. was very special to me, and so we have a kinship. So, yeah, so I'll be there. If you want to shout me out, then please do. But we'll probably get one in Saturday. We will probably get a show in Saturday, if not Sunday. We'll see about Sunday. We'll see. Definitely getting a show in Saturday and potentially Monday. But do look out for Saturday. Do look out for Saturday. And thank you very much for joining me here in Talk Live. But we'll see. I don't know if I'll get a birthday show in. We'll see. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me here in Talk Live, live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to get to the gym and get some cardio in because Lord knows the countdown has begun to guess where. I need to be on the road in early August. So this body's got to be ready. So I'm going to get that cardio in. But thank you very much for joining me here in Talk Live, live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Back in on Friday. Have a bit of business to do out of town, but we'll be back hopefully Friday, but definitely Saturday. So look forward to that. As we bid you adieu on IG, we're going to get out of here. Uh, there we go. And now there. And we're going to end now on YouTube. So thank you very much for joining me here tonight on Talk Live on the show of Melyssa Ford is Cooked.